What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Flip with Final Take Gaming, back with another video for y'all today, and we're talking about the Ben Simmons potential trade option, right? As these last couple of days have been going by, traction has been picking up about Ben Simmons being traded because after their loss to the Atlanta Hawks, Doc Rivers was asked, could Ben Simmons be a point guard on a championship team, aka their championship run, and Doc Rivers said he didn't know. But then Morey said that, oh no, we'll never trade Ben Simmons, he's part of our future. But now he on the trade block. Okay, Daryl Morey, what's really good? You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, I was thinking, Ben Simmons to the Lakers have been rumored a lot. So let's talk about 5 different ways or 5 different trade options that the Lakers can do in order to see if they can get Ben Simmons this very offseason, even though he makes a lot of money, which I think they can pull it off. So let's start with the first trade option that the Lakers can do. Now that would be for the Lakers, they would have to get a third team involved, which would be the Knicks. So how this will break down is that the Lakers will receive Ben Simmons. The Sixers will receive Dennis Schroeder, meaning that the Lakers will sign Dennis with a sign-in trade. Then the Knicks will receive George Hill. Oh, KCP, adios, but KCP, Alex Caruso, and Devontae Cook. Cook is his name. Now, these not saying these are definitely going to work because there's going to be some, draft picks and money exchange, blah, blah, blah. But that's just one trade option that can be on the table for the Lakers to land Ben Simmons. And now for the other teams, it works in their favor as well. We all know in trades that, sometimes it's rare that everybody wins, right, in a trade. Not everybody wins, but then again, not everybody loses as well. You know what I'm saying? So with this trade, like I said, the Lakers get Ben Simmons. They get their point guard of the future for when LeBron leaves. They get somebody they can pair with AD for years to come and have people who want to come run with them to win championships, right? And then on top of that, you have the Sixers who get Dennis Schroeder, who gets a good point guard, not great, a good point guard who can shoot, who can defend, and who will not be in the paint like Ben Simmons was with Joel Embiid, and they can have a good 1-2 punch with shooters around them and Tobias Harris, actually. So yeah, they will have their mini version of a big three with those 3 players right there. And then as far as the Knicks, they get, well, honestly, George Hill, they'll probably just package him off for some money or something like that. No offense to George Hill. He had a nice run in his career, but he's just more of a veteran leadership piece. Or they might keep him just for that veteran leadership. Then you have KCP, where you have your 3-and-D player right then and there, you know what I mean? For Julius Randle, he can have shooters around him, such as KCP. Alex Caruso, you get a defensive-minded player, a good hustle player who will fight through every screen, who will try to defend the opposite team's best player. And then you get Devontae Cook, who actually in his playing time with the Lakers, he showed that he was really decent. He just really needs a good run and some playing time. And what better way to do that than in New York? So with this trade, I see it being beneficial for all parties involved. But yes, let's be honest. Ben Simmons is a generational talent. So yes, the Lakers would have won the trade overall. But in this trade, it's not just like, oh, we're giving away draft picks and money, or the Sixers are getting a low-end point guard, or the Knicks are getting scrub players. No, not at all. It works beneficial for everybody involved. Now that's just one trade option. What the Lakers also do is get 4 teams involved in a trade option, and this can be the outcome if they decide to do so. Now, before y'all say anything, I know y'all see the Cavaliers over there. I know Dan Gilbert probably wouldn't do any trade with LeBron, with a LeBron-led team, but just bear with me and let's just think about it for a minute, okay? So this would be a 4-way trade. So the Lakers will receive Ben Simmons, The Sixers again will receive Dennis Schroeder and a signing trade. The Hawks will get Grant Hill. Wow, they wish. They would get George Hill. They would get KCP. They would get Court Miles, which is a great shooter, and then they would get Dalvin Cook again. Then the Cavaliers will receive Chris Dunn, Alex Caruso, and Okongwa. I think that's how you pronounce his name. But that right there is an excellent trade for all teams involved again. So if we break it down once again, we have the Lakers again. Get it Ben Simmons, as we already talked about that, how great he would be for the team. We already know that. Championships to come. 76ers will have a great, decent point guard in hopes of aspirations of a championship. The other two teams, well, let's say the Hawks for sure, they get another shooter in KCP. They get another three-point shooter in Court Miles. So that's two great three-point shooters right there. They get an up-and-coming developing player in Dalvin Cook. And then they get a veteran in George Hill. Now, the Cavaliers, on the other hand, they get a struggling point guard who just needs a fresh new start, would be Chris Dunn, because he hasn't worked with the Atlanta Hawks, and they got Trae Young. So that will give him time to blossom again, and you never know what can happen in that regard. They get a great defender in Alex Caruso, and Okongwe. Honestly, you guys, I don't know. It just made the trade work, but you never know what he might be capable of, or they could just flip him for other draft picks or anything like that. So that would be if they got into a 4-way trade. But then there's another 3-way team or 3-way trade that they can get into, and let's take a look at that option. And that would be with the San Antonio Spurs. Again, I know the Spurs might not make that trade because the Spurs barely do any trades, but just bear with me again. So this time, the Lakers would be getting Ben Simmons and Mike Scott because the Sixers got to get money off their books. Again, the 76ers will receive Dennis Schroeder, and the Spurs will receive, we talked about it before, KCP, Court Miles, Alex Caruso, but this time, yes, because they're the Spurs, and they're not a silly franchise. They're not going to give away people for nothing. They're going to want something in return. Actually, they're not even sending anybody. They're getting everything. They'll just be like the middleman. They'll be getting Kyle Kuzma as well, which they'll have something to build around with Kyle Kuzma, and they'll have shooting with Court Miles, KCP, and then defender, and Alex Caruso. So I just threw it in there really quickly because that might be a nice little trade that they can do, but hey, who knows? We just know that the 76ers want to get off of Ben Simmons, and this is one of their viable options that they can do. And like I said, we haven't talked about it that much, but Mike Scott is a good 3-and-D shooter that the Lakers can do. And then the Spurs just need players that they can have so they can either trade in the future. They can flip all these players right now because they're sodded out by other teams, especially Kyle Kuzma and Alex Caruso, or they could build around them, and especially with Kyle Kuzma, he just needs a fresh start. I feel with Kyle Kuzma, with his first start, he would actually do a lot better with these teams, and being the number 1 or 1A, 1B, or the second option, he would do a lot better with a fresh start. Now let's look at one more trade option that could be available, and it's just straight across the board. And it would be the Oklahoma City Thunder. Now, what could they do? We go again. The Lakers would get Mike Scott and Ben Simmons. The 76ers this time, the Lakers would have to throw in another, player as well. So you get Alfonso McKinney as well as Dennis Schroeder as well. Did I just say as well like 3 or 4 different times? Wow, has that just become my favorite word? What? Why y'all gotta say it like flip? Anyways, and then the Thunder would get KCP and Alex Caruso. Now this is kind of unlikely because you never know. The Thunder just piling assets again to make a big run and hopefully get some good players in draft, a la KD, Russ, and James Harden. But we'll see. but they're just stockpiling and they need more players so they can, trade pieces and draft picks and stuff like that. So this might be a good look for them. And we already know how the Lakers and the Sixers will fare with that. And Alfonso McKinney's a good player, so Sixers, don't sleep on it. And y'all need to get Mike off the books. And Alfonso McKinney is cheap, so that might really work in your guys' favor, So with that trade, I can actually see that one going down, but I can see them actually probably wanting more in regards to the Thunder, just so they can stockpile more assets and have things, going on in that regard, so they can. I don't know, honestly, what is the Thunder trying to do? Let's talk about that for a minute. They had KD, they had Russ, and they had James Harden, and they didn't have the window. They didn't want to re-sign James Harden, and that was closing the window in a sense on their championship, right? And then eventually everybody left. Russ stayed. He tried to champion it out, and then they respectfully said, "Hey, we're going to see you where you want to go." They had CP3 for a minute, for 1 year. He got them to the playoffs, and now they have that Alexander, right? Gilgeous-Alexander, which is a really good up-and-coming young point guard. So, who are they going to put around him? Because if they don't put anything around him, he might be one of these players too that says, "Hey, I gave him my all here. I gave you 5, 6, 7 years, whatever it may be, and you guys aren't putting anything around me, so I might need to go." So with that being said, this wasn't trying to turn into an OKC, review or OKC options video, but this is something to think about. Like, they could just get all the pieces that they can, trade what they can, flip what they can, in order to get pieces around Gilgeous-Alexander. But anyways, again, I think this trade option works for everybody involved. Of course, it's the Lakers organization, so teams are going to want more than just player swaps. They're going to want draft picks. They're going to want money. And the Lakers don't really have a lot of draft picks to be given out like that. And I don't know for sure, but I thought there was limitations on how far out you can trade draft picks, and they don't have any good first rounders to trade. They have a couple second rounders they can trade up into 2025, I believe, or 2026. So you got to make the math work. You got to make the draft picks work and things like that. And all in all, the teams have to be willing to want to do a trade. And let's be honest, with the historic franchise that the Los Angeles Lakers are, most teams don't want to do trades with them. But with the 76ers, do you really have a choice? Because you want to move off of Ben Simmons, and you want to be able to get something decent. And honestly, unless you go all in for Damian Lillard, which most likely you won't, because you guys are way under the cap, or way over the cap, this would be a viable option, because Dennis Schroeder isn't nothing to scoff at. Dennis Schroeder is an excellent point guard. Now, is he the best? No. You know what I mean? But he's a really good point guard that you could trade for Ben Simmons and still get some equity back without having to relapse or take a hit with your financial books, or take a hit with your championship run. Schroeder's been in the East before. He can ball out, and you have extra shooting around you, and you do not have that. I don't want to say you're not lacking shooting, basically, because Ben Simmons is dope. I don't get me wrong. This is no slander against Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons is an excellent player, generational player. I don't care what nobody says. But his time in Philly has just run up, And the very last trade, which would just be a straight up and down, hey, this man for this man trade, would be simple if Philly just traded Ben Simmons for Dennis Schroeder. Straight up and down, blue collar, hey, mano y mano, however they say, you feel me? You and me, nah, Shane, you feel me? But Ben Simmons for Dennis Schroeder and a sign-in trade. Lakers can make it work because they can give Dennis his money, right? He can get his 120 mil, whatever it may be. Then they can trade him to Philly. Philly gets what we just talked about. Then Ben Simmons comes to the Lakers. I think they're already $9 million over the cap, almost $10 million over the cap. So if Ben Simmons is about like $133 million, I think there is, and you give Dennis Schroeder 120, you maybe have to trade one more piece, so it might not be a straight up and down trade for Ben Simmons, but you could throw in somebody for, $2 million, $3 million, or even just, send cash. People have been traded for cash, a la Drummond, you know what I'm saying? So they can make that work. Now, this whole video, we've been talking about a little bit about what Ben Simmons can bring to the Lakers, but let's fully dive into that right now. Now, Ben Simmons is a 6'10" point guard, and LA loves them some big point guards. For example, hello, Magic Johnson. Come on, y'all. You feel me though? But yeah, the first thing Ben Simmons provides, what the Lakers really need. Let's first things first before anything else. Big body. He is 6'10", like we just talked about, and he's an elite defender. And I truly believe going to the Lakers, he will win Defensive Player of the Year. So if this ever happens, get this video back and know it happened here first on Final Take Gaming. Yes, Ben Simmons in a Lakers uniform can win Defensive Player of the Year. I mean, he can win it anywhere else, but definitely with the Lakers, he can win Defensive Player of the Year. Now, on top of his defense, here we go. He can't shoot. He doesn't shoot. Shoot. Y'all sound like Salt and Pepper. Calm down. Shout out to Salt and Pepper, though. That song Hoops on Space Jam 2, that song fire. Anyways, Ben Simmons is an elite rebounder and passer. Yes, what do they always call him? LeBron 2.0. This man can see the court like no other. Now, briefly, let's just talk about his stats when he first got in the league. He averaged 15 points, 8 rebounds, 8 assists, and almost 2 steals. In the second season, he went up almost 17 points a game, almost 9 rebounds, and 8 assists, and still about 1.5 steals. And again, his third year, 16 points, 8 assists. Yes, I'm not gonna lie, his rebounds went down just a slight, but still about 8 rebounds, and his steals went up, 2 steals a game. And this past year, we don't know what's going on, whether it was mental, whether he's tired of Philly himself too. If he wanted to get out, we really don't know. The story's not out there like that. It's not even allegations because Ben Simmons hasn't said anything. The team has come out and said it. But his last year did slip a little bit. Almost 14, just barely 14 points a game, 7 assists and 7 rebounds. But for most people, and 1.5 steals. But for most people, that's a great stat line. But we know for Ben Simmons being a generational talent, being a 6'10" point guard, having all the hype on him, it's like, oh, he needs to do better. Ben Simmons shouldn't be like that. Like, calm down, y'all. He's need a new environment, and that new environment could be in LA, which would help that squad out tremendously. Now, with that being said, Ben Simmons' average is for his career, is about 16 points a game, 8 rebounds, and 7 assists. And we could just see that going up. Could you imagine Ben Simmons, and they talk about, oh, he needs to move to power forward. No, he does not. Ben Simmons can stay as a 6'10" point guard, because what have LeBron been wanting since 2018 or 2017 in Cleveland? He wanted a playmaker that was similar to him, so he could do what? Y'all? Play off ball. Could you imagine Ben Simmons running the point as LeBron cuts and slices through the defense with AD on the wing or AD low in the post? How dangerous of a squad that would be. Ben Simmons doesn't need to shoot. He just needs to do what he's naturally good at, and that's passing, playing defense, and being big, having a presence. And I'm gonna let y'all in on a little secret now. Ben Simmons, yes, Ben Simmons, guess what? He can actually shoot that rock. Yes, Ben Simmons can shoot that rock. Now, the thing is, again, he just needs a team that's going to be patient with him, take their time with him, and truly develop him. Now, I'm not saying Philly didn't try to develop him. I think they did the best that they can do. It just came a time where he no longer wanted to be. Again, these are not confirmed, okay? These are just rumors. Nothing's been confirmed. But from the looks of it, he just didn't want to be there. Now they don't want him there. So it's just, it comes sometimes where there's a perfect time to split, right? And right now, that is the Sixers and Ben Simmons. It's a perfect time to, shake hands and be like, hey, we tried this. It didn't work out. We wish you the best in all your endeavors, but we have to move forward. And with Ben Simmons, I'm telling you, he'll be a better shooter going to LA. That 3-point shot will get up there. He will start dropping buckets. I guarantee you, from the 3. He will get a mid-range. He will start posting up, because who is there? Who really didn't have a shot? Who shot better than him at a young age, but really didn't have a shot at a young age? Would that be LeBron? LeGoat James? Yes. LeBron James coming out, yes, was the number 1 player in the country, was the number 1 overall pick, but what's the thing? Oh, he really can't shoot. He always go to the basket. He always going inside. And what's Ben Simmons' thing? He always runs to the paint. He doesn't have an outside shot. And who developed one? LeBron James. So, who better to help a young up-and-coming point guard, point forward, whatever you want to call it, but he's a point guard, let's keep it real, and develop a shot? LeBron James. So, it would just be magnificent, amazing to see Ben Simmons running with the Lakers and have that big 3 that can help LeBron transition out into retirement, that will help AD load manage. Yes, it had to be real because the injury prone, load manage his body, and have a team for the future. Because who wouldn't want to run with a AD and Ben Simmons led team in the franchise like the Los Angeles Lakers? Everybody would want to come. So that's about it, y'all. I kept y'all here long enough, but that's just my thoughts on the Ben Simmons. It's not even rumors anymore. The team has come out and said they want to trade him, so we can't even say rumors anymore. But that's my thoughts on Ben Simmons and where he should go. Of course, there's going to be other trade options. Like Daryl Morey said, they want a all-star caliber player. Doesn't mean he has to be an all-star caliber player. It means he has the potential to be an all-star. So we'll see what they'll decide to do in that regard. But again, it would be beautiful, amazing to see Ben Simmons on the Lakers. And honestly, this is more realistic for the Lakers and the Sixers. So Sixers need to go ahead and make that trade, swap it out, shake hands, dap it up, whatever they have to do, and say thank you for your services, Ben Simmons, but we're going to move on. And the Lakers could say, hey, Dennis Schroeder, thank you for that 1 year. It's been great. Here goes your money. See you in the town of brotherly love. You feel me? We'll see y'all twice a year. So let us know in the comments below, what do you guys think about this? Should Ben Simmons go to the Lakers, or should he go somewhere else? Should the Lakers sign Dennis Schroeder in a sign and trade, or should they keep him because, he just had that one battle with COVID, so he actually didn't really get to see his full potential? Let us know in the comments below what you guys think. And is there any other trades you think that either team needs to make in order to get better, to make a championship run? Because both teams are in championship mode, especially the Lakers. LeBron ain't got that much time left. I love LeBron, you know what I mean? But hey, Father Time, he's been able to push him off for quite a while, you know what I mean? But eventually it's going to come. So what will the Lakers be doing in that regard? But thank you guys for tuning in to the video. We truly appreciate it. We love every time you guys stop by and you guys just you know, you guys make our day. Like, truly, truly, truly make our day. We can't thank you guys enough for watching us and tuning in. We're just, you know, going to keep grinding, keep growing, and trying to do the best that we can here at Final Take Gaming. Now, it's been your boy Flip. It's been real. We appreciate you guys. Once again, I can't state that enough. So if you like this video, please do us a favor, y'all, and give it a big thumbs up. And while you're at it, share them with whoever you love to share with. And since you're still here, subscribe to Final Take Gaming, because we make videos weekly, sometimes 2 or 3 times a week, you know what I'm saying? But until we meet again, always remember to smile, laugh, and stay positive, y'all. It's been your boy Flip. Peace.